Well, today I'm the CEO of Next Metro Communities. We're the developer of what's called the build to rent space these days. So we build single family homes that we rent. We've been in business for about 10 years, actually almost 11 years. And I was the first employee, and I was brought on as the managing partner 10 years ago by the founders, which is my board of directors. And so we've grown from one individual in a backroom closet to I think we have 65 employees now, and we are in 8 markets.
Wow, that's really exciting. I never knew you were officially employee number one.
I was officially employee number one. Actually, I'll probably quote something that happened in my initial interview that's relevant to this discussion today at some point. But yeah, I was. They decided to form the company in late 2012, and then I came on board through a recruiter, strangely, in 2013, early 2013.
Nice. So let's go back even prior to that. So before Next Metro, employee number one, up to CEO, what ultimately got you set and ready for this kind of role? What was your first portion of your career?
Yeah, I had an interesting transition in my career. So I started out, I'll kind of start from the beginning. When I left school, my background is I have a geological engineering degree, which is a unusual degree. It's part of civil engineering. And I wanted to be an environmental consultant, and I was out to save the world. And that was kind of my first 3 or 4 years of my career, but I realized that I didn't really enjoy it. It wasn't something that really piqued my interest because, as is often the case in careers, it sounds better on paper than it actually is in reality. But fortunately, I had a mentor who kept track of me. He was my first mentor in my first company in consulting, and he had gone on to do real estate development with a company called Del Webb, which is a large master plan community developer in the Southwest, but pretty well known across the country. And he said, I think you should come work for me. I'm going to go start with a new company that's doing a 7,000 acre master plan community here in Phoenix. And I think you would love development and much more than you like environmental engineering. So I took that leap, went from a relatively small company. I think the office I was in at that time had about 6 people in it. And I was the low man in the totem pole, to a larger company, kind of regional, that had about 60 employees. And kind of working my way up the corporate scale, I guess. So worked for that company for a few years, worked my way up the chain. So I came in as a junior engineer, worked my way up to a project manager or director of land development. And then the same person who had hired me there had left and gone back to Pulte Homes, which had acquired Del Webb, and wanted to take me there. And I'll never forget the guy who was my employer at that time. He was one of the top 3 people at the company. He kind of gave me a hard time. He said, "Are you going to just follow this guy around your entire career, or are you going to break out on your own at some point?" And I kind of had to laugh, and I said, "Yeah, it's been going pretty good so far, so I think I'll keep following him." And so I went to Pulte, so kind of up the next notch, right? Pulte probably had about 3,000 employees, maybe more at that time. Actually, I'm sorry, it had 3,000 employees in Arizona. It probably had 50 or 60,000 employees total. And that's where I started to learn about the corporate culture. And I think that's probably where I refined my leadership skills the most, because, larger corporations tend to invest more in the development of their future leaders. Smaller companies tend to just kind of do it by watching and learning, right? And so I had lots of opportunities for expanding my leadership skills and different leadership opportunities at Pulte.
So, interesting hearing your journey this way, because what struck me just hearing you talk about today is you start off almost like a subject matter expert, a little more around technical skills, and then at some point along the lines, you started pivoting more into people management and leadership. Was that a conscious choice that you made, or did that just kind of evolve?
It just kind of evolved. I'm a very, as you know, I'm a pretty programmatic brain. I'm a very engineer-like brain, and so I like processes. But I think that when I went to Pulte, they put me in charge of a team for the first time, and they were assembling a new team for this project that I was working on. And I was able to kind of put everything together, and I started realizing that I really liked being a leader as well and helping grow people and mentor them and kind of do some of the things for people that have been done for me in my past and encourage their development. So, but I was able to somewhat use both because I was such a subject matter expert, to your point, in kind of the environmental and engineering side, and I had done a lot of regulatory work, that I was able to parlay that into being very thoughtful and structural in how I was a leader in terms of just thinking through, if this, then this, right? How is this going to help my team grow? How is this going to help my business grow? And so I think I just kind of fell into it in some regards, that I really started enjoying leading individuals.